Ancient Greece, an age-old civilization founded in blood. Some of the most epic battles in history were fought here. And at their heart was a brutal fighting style thought lost for almost 2,000 years. A martial art so vicious that its practitioners would rather fight to the death than admit defeat. Its name, pancration. We're here to learn from the masters who rediscovered this ancient blood sport. And ultimately, one of us will be put to the test in a pancration fight against one of its most awesome champions.
There are hundreds of distinct fighting styles in the world. They are practiced in every nation and by every people. Now, Jason Chambers, a mixed martial artist and professional fighter, and Bill Duff, a former pro football player and wrestler, are embarked on a mission to explore the history and techniques of these incredible martial arts. And at the end of each journey, one of these two warriors will face the ultimate test. They'll try to survive a real fight with a true human weapon.
This is Athens, capital city of Greece and symbol of a great civilization. Over 25 centuries before the United States was born, the Greeks were building temples, palaces, and theaters. They founded modern philosophy, mathematics, and medicine.
But the Greeks were fighters too. They had to be. This region was in a constant state of conflict for over 500 years. The Persians, the Romans, the Turks, the Goths, the Vandals, they all fought to conquer this land.
To survive, the Greeks created a martial art so efficient and modern, it's hard to believe it comes from an ancient civilization.
We've come to this nighttime tournament to get our first look at the reborn fighting style of pancration.
We got a fight on our hands now. He got kicked in the head, yeah. When they start wrestling, it makes me want to just get out there on the mat. I mean, these guys are tough, but I just want to pick them up and slam them myself.
I'm holding Bill back. Make peace with the Greeks.
Translated as all powers, pancration means exactly that. Anything goes.
Punches, takedowns, throws, and joint locks are used in punishing combinations by pancratists to force an opponent into submission. Pancration was one of the world's first mixed martial arts, and its techniques are just as effective today as they were thousands of years ago. In ancient Greece, even the philosophers were fighters. Socrates himself was a soldier and may have trained in the battlefield precursor to pancration. In the Greek armies, every soldier had to buy his own armor and his own weapons. But thousands of soldiers just couldn't afford even the most basic equipment. So their only choice became unarmed combat to the death. But like all civilizations, the Greek states eventually fell. From the 3rd century BC onwards, Greece began to collapse.
And a few centuries later, the city-states were gone. And so was pancration.
For 1,600 years, the fighting art was lost to the world. Then, in the 1970s, an American named Jim Arvanites attempted to reconstruct the ancient art.
But pancration really took off in 1995, as Greek scholars and athletes began using archaeological evidence to bring this ancient fighting style out of a legendary past and into a brutal present.
On the beach, we met Laz Savides, a pancration trainer and a leading expert in its revival.
So how did pancration first get its start?
Well, actually, we have been in a lot of research in the last 15 years, and we just exclude everything that it was not included in that. Ancient vases, sculptures, statues, and started making this program that you see here.
So really, the culture and the art took a big role in you finding out what pancration was, right?
Today, There are around 1,500 pancratius training and fighting in Greece. They stay true to the history and techniques of the deadly original, with just a few changes for safety.
Hand strikes to the head are illegal, but full force kicks are just fine.
Definitely not like a Western boxer. Ooh. I guarantee you he comes back with something now.
Like mixed martial arts, pancration fights can be won by submission or knockout.
And like boxing and karate, points are awarded for contact, techniques, and difficulty of the move executed.
After watching these pancration fights, Las gave us a challenge. Learn the techniques of pancration and fight. Konstantinos Skepernakos, a pancration champion and member of the Greek Special Forces. There's a good chance he's going to give one of us a real beating.
My schedule's clear.
Okay, what about you?
Sounds good.
Okay, that's good. Then it's a deal.
Our training began first thing the next morning as we headed down Athens' back alleys in search of the world-famous Malios Gym.
The gym was founded by George Malios, a kickboxing legend and expert striker. George is one of the handful of men dedicated to making pancration world famous again. Malios began by demonstrating some of his signature kicks and punches.
Known as krohirimos, these standing strikes are used to weaken an opponent before taking them to the ground. We begin with the straight punch. Used for close-range combat, the hands are kept high to protect the head. The fists are driven in straight, quick jabs at the target.
Not good.
The goal isn't to score a knockout, but to gauge distance and keep your opponent in front of you at all times.
Yes. Now this is a little bit different than, say, Western boxing because you don't see hooks and uppercuts. It leaves you open for takedowns from different angles. These punches are all direct to your opponent. You get him moving back.
Okay.
Direct, and it's to the point.
After giving our fists a good workout, Malios showed us another stand-up strike. But this one wasn't about keeping distance. It was about winning a fight. It's called the gastriza, or gut kick.
Yeah. Exactly this point is your target, so your feet has to be between these lines. And your heel, use your heel.
One of the most powerful offensive moves we'd ever seen. The gastriza is a straight-line kick to an opponent's midsection. The attacker's knee and foot are chambered like a piston, and then stomped into the opponent's stomach, genitals, or thighs.
Unlike most kicks that land with the side, ball, or top of the foot, the gastriza uses the heel to deliver the blow. This alignment of the heel, ankle, lower leg complex channels some 2,000 pounds of force into the opponent. More than enough to break a baseball bat.
I like that.
According to legend, ancient Greek soldiers perfected these kicks to the point where they could smash through an opponent's shield. But it wasn't just a story. George offered to demonstrate.
Oh! All right.
Even though we had just learned it, I decided to give it a try.
Some guy kicked it.
2, 3.
Oh, man, that's tough. This is kicking it flat. Here?
Yes.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Nice.
American muscle wins every time.
But shield kicking is just the beginning of our quest to prepare ourselves to face the champion. Next, we're going to travel back to the bloody arenas and killer Olympics of pancration's glory days, and learn a move that we can use when we take our fight to the ground.
Religion and violence always went hand in hand here in ancient Greece. To experience that link ourselves, Jason and I headed west, across the Isthmus of Corinth, to the Temple of Zeus at Nemea.
This is one of the oldest and most revered locations of the classical Greek world. Before a battle, soldiers would slaughter animals on the steps of this temple and pray that the blood of the sacrifice would please the gods.
Though pankration may have been born in war, it found its greatest fame as a sport. Soon after the Greeks founded the Olympic Games in 700 BC, pankration moved from the battlefield to the stadium. Beneath the city's famed Temple of Zeus, we met Dr. Emmanuel Mixagianakis, who tells us the story of the so-called heavy games at the Olympics.
So why did they call them the heavy games?
Because there were no weight requirements, and the heaviest, most powerful